All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Welcome back. Let's shift gears now and talk matters biashara. Being Tuesday, we are coming now from that heated political debates now to matters that are of interest to you. Right now, all of us are on social media, scrolling, liking, getting so many views, and sometimes it gets us a little bit happy. But now the question is, how do we turn that particular a thing into money, into income? And this morning, that is what we're talking about. With me in studio, I have John Wambugu. John is an entrepreneur. He's a leader in the digital economy. So he'll be helping us also understand how we can change these likes, these views, and of course, the many followers that we have into some income, into some money. We all want that, right? And later on, we are hoping to be joined by Tumbili. He's on his way. Tumbili is Andrew Duncan Odor. He's a stand-up comedian. Atakuwa anatuambia how exactly does he translate or transform the views, the likes, and his followers into something marketable and into a business that just brings him income, if at all. And the question you're asking you this morning: have you ever used social media to promote your business or hustle? Did it work for you? Once again, have you used social media to promote your business or hustle? Did it work for you? Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. Talk to us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. Our WhatsApp line is also very active, 0793267279. We'll be very happy to hear from you, and you can tag me as well at @Ann_Odida. Karibu tena, John.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me once again.
Good to have you.
Yes, I hope your week was well.
Fantastic. You've been thriving?
Kabisa.
The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Kabisa.
How are you? How about you?
We're healthy and we're thankful.
Absolutely.
Right.
We are talking about turning these likes, these views into cash, right? But let's just start from a very basic level. What are the steps to just monetizing our social media accounts?
All right, so thank you for that. I mean, one of the most important bits to remember is that, and I keep on saying this, is that platforms are replacing institutions. And that has to be very key in terms of even as you start off your social media journey. When you look at it, shops now are selling online, banks are trading online as well, media houses, for example, advertising as well, that has also shifted as well. And you also look at even things like also distribution has been more towards reaching customers than really having those what people used to call brokers or barriers in between. So that is one of the things that we really then have to first recognize. The other bit to also remember is that opportunities now have become even broader because creators have become entrepreneurs, right? Where you have a camera, you have a phone, you have a story, and if you connect that to a product, you're in business. And so that has really then broadened up. So you're looking at a couple of steps. No, I will not even call them steps, but I don't know reasons then why you should be encouraged to actually, when you're launching a business, to think about social media as a forthright thing. We are also living in the times of where there's a big shift towards where there used to be the age of endorsers. Years back, celebrities were endorsing brands. In the States, for example, you had people like Oprah who would actually, as long as they say your product is fantastic, then it actually sells. And that age then shifted towards then the age of influencers, right? Who are still then using, where it meant that as long as you're a creator, whether if you are known and you're just a creator, you can actually start your own business and you can actually have your own channels. You don't have to rely on traditional media. And so that then, but that shift then is slowly moving, when you look even at businesses, towards the age of niche, where now businesses are being built around micro communities. We'll be looking probably towards even things like even You've seen this, there's a lot of push towards millennial events. There was a cookout for millennials.
Did you go?
And
I came across it on
You
social
did, yeah?
media. I did not. Actually saw it late.
You saw it late, yeah? But you can tell that particular shift where as long as you now niche your product, you don't have to sell it to so many people who like it, but choose a small community who actually love it. And I think that's where the tie-in is. And you know, I also had a chance to visit even some, for example, even looking even at what this question always comes about, is government even, you know, doing to actually then enable that. And you're looking at some frameworks have been put by institutions like, say, KONZA, for example, or the Ministry of ICT with the Gitume hubs. You know, I think they have around 336 out of maybe 1450 that they're meant to launch, or Gitume centers of excellence, which are targeting creators in where they want to believe the plan is to have one creator or one center of excellence per county, and that will be just really focused on the creatives. Or you can go and actually go there. There's a studio. You can actually be able to create content around your product.
Is that enough for these creators? Because if you're looking at it, the number of creators that we have in the country, there are quite a lot, and the coming up creators every now and then.
Yes.
You know, a creator is maybe somebody sitting at home right now and thinking about the content they're going to create, so they're coming up. Then what you're talking about, that there's going to be a place where now content creators can create their content and just build it from there. But is that environment that is being created enough to boost the gig economy or the content creation economy?
I think the intention is there, because when you look at it in terms of, it is not a traditional industry, and of course the last 10 or so years has meant that governments all over the world have had to actually shift towards that. Now that journey then, I believe, then has started. You know, where people now, many years ago, even when I started my career, when I said I really wanted to become a filmmaker or a storyteller or a photographer, that was something that was hugely very odd for you to actually say, right? But right now that is something that is recognized, and there are people who have been successful at it in the last probably decade or 15 years who people can actually reference to. So I think then that is a very good intention that is actually going there. When something is starting off, the only way to know is it's actually enough is to start off and then actually then get a lot of feedback from it. When you look at even, I think they have something called Ajira. Government has a program called Ajira, where it connects you to jobs. You can actually log in there and you can actually see that you're connected then to, you can actually see what jobs are actually available and you can apply for them. I think when I looked at those statistics, those numbers were saying, you know, probably around 41,000 or so young people have actually got jobs through that particular connections. And around, I believe, around 60-something thousand have gone through the Gitume hubs. So, and that brings me back to where it is the intention that we are recognizing that platforms are replacing institutions.
The will is there.
The will is there.
I would love for you to expound on that particular point. You mentioned it as we started, and you've also mentioned it again, that platforms are replacing institutions.
Exactly.
That's just in what way? Are we looking at a point where institutions will now just be entirely run by social media, or what do you mean exactly?
I think the idea is that whatever then you're doing is that the reach through platform is much, much bigger. That means even if you do even if you launch a particular product or a service, the first thing that you hope people can do is actually have the best way of marketing, they say, is word of mouth. But right now there is something that adds to that word of mouth, and that is social media, where it can reach 1 or 2 or 3 people even further. I'll give a very good example of one of the, I hope I can mention this, but one of the businesses called Samosa. You know,
I know it.
Yes. So it's a business that just has niche towards samosas.
Yes.
Right? And one of the things that it started off by word of mouth, they like it, they don't even sell anything else. So you've niched your particular bit there. Once you niche it, then you're able then to actually then be remarkable and build attention then towards that. And as you build attention towards that, people then start getting to know you about that particular thing. And that's why I went and I said, when we started off, I actually said that it is better that you choose a product or a service that can be loved by a small group of people than liked by many. That means that you're building loyalty in terms of your brand. And I go back to also, there's a fantastic gentleman called Seth Godin. He's the father of modern marketing. And he has written a fantastic book called The Purple Cow. So the Purple Cow basically is that it's about building a product or a service that is very, very remarkable. A case in point is, a very good example he gives is that you're driving down the road and you see a herd of cows, normal, cows as we know them. Do they really inspire just that you have to, alight from your car or stand if you're walking and look at them and say, wow, these are fantastic cows. Normally, that's just normal. And so you'll continue moving to where you're going. But as you move down, you see a purple cow. A cow that is actually purple.
That's unique.
No, that's unique. What do? You stand, you look at it, you take pictures of it, you go back home and tell your neighbors about it. Your neighbors then say, wow, did you take a picture? You share it with them. Your neighbors then share it so many times. People will even start asking, does it have purple milk? So that's the idea with whatever you're doing. Look at that particular differentiator, look at that unique selling proposition of whatever that you're doing, and that's your purple cow. So in everything that we are doing, find your purple cow in everything that you do.
To attract attention.
Exactly.
You mentioned something also quite interesting, that
Yes.
When launching a business, you have to think about social media first.
Correct.
But I'm now thinking about people who, social media, just like any other, say my account, and I want to translate it into now a business platform to monetize it. Then how do I still maintain the touch of my own brand and Odida my brand, but also just monetize it, post things that are bringing me money, and not entirely create another account just for my business, but transform my own account into something that brings in money?
I think that's where I still go back to the same thing where we're saying that with whatever you first choose to do, choose one that really does not have so much competition. I think I mentioned this when I was here last time.
You did.
But that said also, choose one that is very, very unique, that can be memorable, that can be remarkable, that people can actually remember and say, this is fantastic. And,
so if for example,
yes.
Just to also expound on that question a little bit,
right.
We're talking about my own personal account, which is a very personal account that I post my photos and just banters and memes and all that. Let's talk about Instagram, for
right.
example. But now I really have this following that knows me as somebody who just posts for fun and posts these memes for them that they enjoy. But now you have a business that you want me to promote, or there's a way that I now want to make this platform not about me, but about business only. Then how do I maintain that unaudited touch, that fun, that the person who just posts photos and memes, but also ensure that business is going on here, such that they don't run away, but I also still retain them as much as I want to just retain my account as it was?
I think I believe the most important bit on this is to first decide. There are people who decide that then, and this you've seen that in reality shows, for example, they decide that they themselves are the product, and you're selling that as a product, right? Whatever that comes with, how you dress, how you talk, how you, for example, you even brought your family, your husband, your wife into the whole business of it. A good example is, for example, the Kardashians, for example. They were really, really good at it. And even locally, we've seen some people like, your Bahatis who've been able to go out and actually launch reality shows. So you can actually decide that I will be that particular brand. I will be that brand. But as you move towards, the most important thing is actually then to identify and say, hey, how about I actually use my popularity or my being famous, and actually then convert that into a brand and build it up. And you've seen people who've actually done that. For example, if I can mention, a lady called Murugi has been very good at it, where she started, and now she's doing all these, business online courses where people can actually come and learn so much from that. You've seen people like Mr. Beast, for example, who started off as a very small channel, but they decided then to divert into other brands. So you have to be very intentional in terms of what you actually want to do with it. And also remember one thing, that being popular and being famous is very different from being notable, right? Being popular means that you have people who like you, pale kwa your pub.
Yes.
People know you. When you come in, they say, nah, bana, you're right, how have you been? And people know you. That is actually then being popular. When you're famous, people know you largely, not just like you. Being like you're liked, you're popular. When you're famous, then people know you. People that you don't even know, they actually know you. But then being notable is where then you can build your sustainability of a business, because it's also very different from being viral. We've seen where a trend comes up or a new product comes up and it is so viral, and it has its peaks. And maybe for a month or 2 months, it's really, really high. But at some point, then it just actually this goes and actually sinks. So I think what we are talking about is how then are we able then to take that attention, whether it is from our personal accounts, and actually make that attention sustainable. That you can actually then be able then to born and come up with a particular product. For example, and millions of countrywomen watch you here every day. You can decide then really beyond this, then actually then what do I then need to actually do? But you have to be very, very intentional of it. And really and truly, they say if you have a hobby that gets wild, you can actually earn from it, and maybe then you can build your career or something else then around that.
So from your own assessment, do you think that we are just chasing, say, viral moments rather than just building sustainable digital businesses, like you mentioned it, that sometimes, when it comes to viral moments, then that is something that people are drawn towards most of the time, business people, content creators. So from where you sit, do you think that that is where, as Kenyans, we are leaning more towards, that we are just chasing viral moments rather than building a sustainable digital business that will thrive in the long run?
I'll not say it's a blanket to all Kenyans. I mean, all of them are lessons, and very clearly you've seen people who have been very viral for 1-2 times. A few years ago, we had a gentleman who was called Githeri Man on one of our election days, right? And he was very viral around that, and memes were created around that. And then you have people who have become so viral, but actually pick that particular attention and build something with it.
Imagine if Githeri Man opened a Githeri business.
Imagine that. Think about that, right? He was known for Githeri. Imagine then he decided, I'll not actually sell anything else. I'll not even do ugali. I'll actually just sell Githeri. And people, let me tell you, will actually go there because people like being also associated with that particular attention. And they feel that they're also doing you a huge favor by coming then to what then you're giving. So that's why I'm saying, identify what you're doing, and then really and truly, if you want them to be sustainable and not just to be viral, you have then to be aware that you have to find sustenance then towards that. And one of the major things that people now are actually doing is niching your business. I did mention that we have moved from the endorsement age. We are slightly now moving towards the influencer age, and now we are moving now towards niche markets or niche communities, where, for example, if someone has set up a thrift shop, you have a thrift shop then becomes very, very popular, and you start setting up on Instagram. You're not selling anything else. You might just actually be selling shoes, but people will be drawn towards that because naturally, even as human beings, there's a very good, people are building relationships more towards really wanting to be associated with communities. And the businesses of the future are really the ones that will actually take advantage of these hyper-local communities, connection, what neighbors can can trade between neighbors. And also then taking the fact that you can also have a great opportunity to actually test your product on these social media platforms. You really don't have to go and open up a shop somewhere to test out your product and see if it will work. If you are in a WhatsApp group and you want to sell, we've talked about bananas before, but you can actually go and actually test whether people can buy your bananas on that particular platform.
On WhatsApp.
Yes, the other thing that I also want to encourage anyone then who actually wants to launch a product and they really want to go towards social media is also be a student of behavior. Read behavior and read it very, very well. See what people are doing on a normal day. See what people are doing in a matatu. See how people interact in house of worships. See what people talk about in chamas and how what platforms they go to, and then build your product around that existing behavior.
Around need.
Around need, but also around that existing behavior that has already been tested and tried. Yes.
All right. I want us to get some feedback, getting
right.
the question that we've asked online. Have you used social media to promote your business or hustle? Did it work for you? Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. Have you ever used social media to promote your business or hustle? Did it work for you? Let's get some feedback now. And we start off from Facebook now. Mercy Akinyi from Kisumu says, I promote my thrift clothes on WhatsApp status. Surprisingly, most of my customers come from there because people already know and trust you. Of course, John, you've talked about WhatsApp. A lot of people don't know that WhatsApp actually is a business. It's a marketplace as well. Kevin Mutua is watching from Nairobi and he says, I tried selling phone accessories on Facebook Marketplace. It worked, but you have to be patient and respond to many inquiries. That's another concern there. We have Faith Wanjiru. She's from Thika. She says, yes, I bake cakes and most of my orders come from Instagram. Good photos and customers' reviews really help. That is Faith from Thika. We also have Brian Otieno from Mombasa. I tried promoting my car wash on TikTok and it actually brought new customers who said they saw the videos online. That's Brian from Mombasa. We have Lillian Chebet from Eldoret. She says, I sell cosmetics on Facebook. It works, but sometimes people ask many questions and disappear without buying. Daniel Mwangi says, social media works if you're consistent. I market my farm produce on WhatsApp groups and I get buyers every week. All right.
Look at that.
We have James from James Kariuki. He says, yes, I sell sneakers on Instagram. At first it was slow, but once I started posting consistently and replying to DMs quickly, customers started coming. All right. These are some of the feedbacks that we are getting, James, and you can see a lot of them are centered towards consistency and also the need to be consistent first, and the issue of patience is where it is coming up, that sometimes you'd promote your business and then that issue of the trust deficit. Of course, right now we are in an age where even as we're transforming or just changing or leaning towards social media, then there's also a lot of scams. You know, when you buy something, you send money and then you call, you're blocked. Then really, how do they now restore that trust? Because some are also saying that there's some sluggishness. Ama inakaa sana before, you know, customers will just drop in and trust them. Then how do they then solve that issue of that long, you know, that long period before customers start trusting you online?
When you're starting off your business. I think I'll merge it with one thing that about storytelling and the importance of storytelling. Because right now, a lot of people don't just buy products, but they are buying identity, they are buying story. And you're able to combine proper identity of who you are and what you're selling with a great, powerful story, then trust then starts to come. And I liked one of the, I think it was probably, was it Akinyi, who actually talked about being patient. Right, being patient as you're building something, but of course there's the difference between waiting and doing now. Waiting and just, you know, you're just chilling, and actually doing something as you're waiting for, something substantial to actually happen. So that's what I mean by that kind of patience.
Yes.
And when you look at great story, for example, great story can actually be able to sort you out in so many things. When you look at the brands that have hugely come before us and are still there, brands like Nike, for example, they had great stories. They were able to build a story of, around just do it. And that was it. And everyone just really wanted to be associated with it.
Yeah.
It is not about selling don't just sell the product, but sell how that product makes you feel. And also how do you get the journey of actually using that particular product. And that's what then you can actually match towards story. If you look, for example, at that particular, I think it's a lady who talked about selling thrift,
Yes.
and someone else talked about selling sneakers. They can actually tell you that they build a certain story around them. Because at the end of the day, what is your purple cow? How are your sneakers different from my neighbor who actually is selling them on WhatsApp? Right? And the biggest differentiators I've kept on saying is storytelling. So make your storytelling a bit more emotive as well. Because people buy emotions. People don't buy through logic. They buy through emotions. Then they actually then make sense of it. Through
just to also tie
Yes.
in whatever you're talking about, because
Right.
when you're starting, you mentioned something about Oprah, and it's a very good example. You say
Right.
that a lot of people sometimes would buy something because she said that, this product is good for 1, 2, 3, and you were talking about influencer marketing, and then now we are also shifting into niche marketing, or there's a term that you use.
Yes.
But now there are people like me who now sometimes won't buy something because an influencer has promoted it. One, because sometimes we know they are after money, and sometimes there's no authenticity with whatever product they're trying to market. Then how do they also ensure that they can convince me, somebody like me who don't buy from influencers, to buy a particular product? Because there's also a disconnect with that. Because if they're promoting, say, for example, oil, mafuta ya kujipaka, for example. But I look at it and say that this one, I do not want to buy it because so-and-so is promoting it, or even skincare brand. Then how do they ensure that they remain authentic, that they can also sell and also attract people like me who
Exactly.
are not easily convinced?
And then that's a very, very good question. It was in terms, I think you tied back to the question you're asking about you build up from your own personal profile vis-a-vis building something that has a different name. And I think it's always safer when you look at it. For every other person, even when you look at the greats who've come, who have been there before, call them endorsers or big celebrities or influencers or affiliate marketers, as they are called now. They were able to actually in time use their name, but then slowly then move towards something. Famous lady here was called Huda, for example. Huda Monroe. You remember she started,
The lipstick brand.
Exactly. And in time, that became then more of something that would really then build that up, right? And there is time when people then, a generation will come that people will realize that that actually is associated with you. Look at, for example, I like giving the story of the Kardashians, for example, because they took attention to a whole different level. But after they did that, they understood that these viral moments, they had to find a way to sustain that. And what did they do? They actually went now to building brands and building them around that. And the brands are not even hugely even called their names. You find a different name to actually call it. That means then that Anna, who really might not like that particular influencer, then still then is able then to actually buy into that. The other bit, and I really want to emphasize on this, is the age of, I've called it the age of niche. You'd rather sell the mugs that you're having right there, than taking that you're going to say that I'll even sell plates and all those things. you'd rather build that particular niche. And when you build it, you're able to also concentrate on it and even take it even further. Right.
All right. Let's just welcome Tubili on set now. Tubili is Andrew Duncan Odur and is a stand-up comedian. Karibu sana on set. Tubili, just take your seat. We are talking about social media and how we can turn, this
Karibu.
very, very, very big platforms right now. Good morning.
Morning to you.
Good to see you. Karibu sana for making time.
Thank you so much.
We are talking about how we can transform social media into a marketplace just to make money. And would love to hear from you if at all this is something that has worked for you, right? The social media platforms that are there, there's so many. Somebody has mentioned WhatsApp as well, but we really overlook WhatsApp sometimes. But I wonder if you can walk us through your journey, of course, into I don't know if you're a content creator. Do you see yourself as a content creator?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Your journey into content creation.
Yes.
Tell us how you have been able to transform that into a viable business.
First of all, there are so many platforms across social media where influencers, we are making money through marketing. First, we market ourselves, yeah, which is a big deal. And also, as you've said, WhatsApp status is one of the most ignored platforms also, because you see this one gives you direct contact with your first people, yeah, who are supposed to be your first, let me say, yeah, supporters. Yeah, because personally, when I was starting, I used to market myself through WhatsApp status. You know, those times when YouTube was not that big, Instagram was not there, Facebook was not that, So you used to do like, you do your content and push your links through the WhatsApp status. Yeah, and you see, though, let me say, it used to be not that, let me call it fake. Because sometimes you get like 100 replies from your status. Then you go check your views, they are not matching.
They're not clicking that link to
yeah. People are just responding, replying to the link. Yeah, so on products maybe that we use to market, let me say on my side, the statistics, influencers, right now we have so many influencers, like let me say everyone right now is an influencer. Yeah, the market is crowded. Like you just have to do something extra, like to stand out. Yeah, right now, like TikTok, even our clients themselves, sometimes they even they do the marketing themselves, and you still on pay as the influencers.
Yes.
But they are doing much than us. That's why you see. Let me say we are heading to a point where not really much, but influencers will be something. Influencing will be something like it's not that important.
Because now companies are trying to also leverage on social media by themselves.
Yeah, they are the workers. The workers themselves, they are influencing the products. The business people themselves, they are influencing their products. You see, so it will get to a point where the celebrity influencers won't be a big deal. They'll have to do something extra. Yeah.
You mentioned something quite interesting that I would love for you to clarify on. That, when you were starting, sometimes you'd post a link on WhatsApp and then nobody will click on it to just go
very
check
few
on what
people.
Very few people, right?
Yeah.
But now what changed? I wonder if that is still the standard for you, that if you post something on your WhatsApp status, for example, then the number of views that you're getting on your status will also translate to the number of views that you're getting on, say, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. What changed?
Let me say right now, things changed because at least for now, we have other platforms where you can have maybe a snippet of your video on YouTube. You can have it on Instagram, TikTok, then the traffic will go down to YouTube. So let me say I have like 1,000 WhatsApp views on status, and then maybe after I've shared, maybe the video has 10,000. It means there are people who have come from other platforms. There are also people who have subscribed and have been notified. So whenever, even without me posting on WhatsApp status, I still get the views. So let me say that's what has really changed from my side, which I appreciate. Yeah, the growth is positive. Yeah. Though with time, you know, social media is crazy, and the whole celebrity thing. With time, people get to like, let me say, the fame goes down. It's hard to get somebody who is like becoming more famous and more famous and more famous. Yeah. Maybe if they are forcing it, then they are becoming more famous, but in a negative way. Because they always say there's no bad publicity.
Publicity is publicity.
And that's why you see some of the people who have been in the game, most of them are not doing like positive stuff to make them maintain their name. You'll find our brother Baha amepiga kadress kake hapo kalit naget. So because fame, the business is on the side of how are you still there, you know? There is a client who wants to market with you, but are you still there? Yeah, so you have to do something to still be there.
Tibili, before of course we bring in John again, you mentioned something interesting again that I'd love for you to just talk to us about it, that when you're doing something you have to stand out, such that these businesses will also want to still approach you, because we're talking about the influencer, celebrity influencer going down, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing to stand out such that we can differentiate you from other stand-up comedians?
My journey has not been easy. As a stand-up comedian who started so many years ago, because I'm counting like 16 years now, in stand-up. So our time when we were starting, we used to only have one platform, and that is Churchill Show. Every stand-up comedian in East Africa wanted to feature on the show. There were no stand-up comedy shows in Tanzania. There were some in Uganda, but they were not that big across East Africa. So most of them wanted to be on Churchill Show. That means the opportunities were limited. Like for a show that was going for around 30 minutes, it means they needed very few comedians. And I remember we used to go by 5 a.m. We were already there at the auditions, which were starting at 9
a.m.
Yes. The reason why we were going early is because they used to follow the list. So the earlier you get, you write your list. So they'll start with number 1, 2, 3, up to 200. You know, sometimes they get tired, they can't get to number 200. So they'll do like 50, then they tell the others, yo, you have to come back again next time. So with that, I had to do something that will make me, because I really loved doing stand-up. It's in me, you know. So I used to create my own shows at the University of Nairobi, where I was a student. I used to do my own shows in churches, just anywhere, small to venues, to build my brand. I used to follow Eric Omondi to other countries. There's a time I followed him by bus to Rwanda, and I didn't get an opportunity to perform, but I got an opportunity to interact with other international comedians. With that, it used to grow my circle of stand-up comedians. And even these ones in Churchill Show, they used to fear me because when I get to Rwanda, I would like do a photo or a small video like I'm performing, you see. So they would be like, yo, this upcoming comedian is getting an opportunity in Rwanda, man. So with that, the interaction, I made a circle of big stand-up comedians in Africa. Like in Salvador, they used to invite me for their shows in Uganda. Clean the Drunk invited me in Lagos, you know. And at that time, I wasn't like big in Kenya, but I was big in stand-up comedians circle. That was the only important thing. Fans never knew me. The Kenyan fan base didn't know me, but I used to have fans within the stand-up comedians circle.
In Africa?
Yeah, in Africa. I did South Africa, I did Zambia, Botswana, so many countries. And even later, I got an invitation to do a stand-up comedy tour in America, which I did. I went and did. I tagged along Eric Omondi and Ann Kansime. It was my show, by the way. It was my show, but I tagged. So if you looked at it outside, from outside, it looked like they are the ones who had taken me.
Yes.
You see, and all this is because I wanted to stand out. And that's when you see people ask me why I call myself the African Prince of Comedy. It's not that I called myself that, it's a gift from Ann Kansime when we were doing a show in Boston. Yeah, she's the one who named me that.
All right, so in short, somebody has to hold your hand for you to also just thrive in.
Not really that. Not everybody who wants to hold your hand wants to help you. You see, some, you know, this is real. You know, sometimes when you hold someone's hands, you also go up. Yeah. So not everybody who holds your hands wants to help you. They want to help themselves, and it happens in most cases.
All right.
Yeah.
John, we are talking about celebrity influencing, you know, going down, but would we just sit down?
We have yet one here today. So
you know, but will we just sit down and watch it go down the drain? Or what can we really do? What can influencers do, celebrity influencers do, to just maintain whatever, you know, is happening right now, the influencer business culture, to not die down, to sustain, you know, in the long run? What can be done?
I think our good friend has also given a very good example in terms of how you can
stand out.
Yeah, you can stand out. Remember the purple cow that we were talking about? Be that purple cow in a herd of cows that really stands out. But as you do that, remember also that attention, for you to actually get something from that particular attention, you have then to build that sustainability and that particular consistency that we're talking about. And I think in line, joining it back to today's topic, is that we really need to start also testing our content, because that is our product, testing it to market in a cheap, easy and faster way. And these particular platforms that are there, whether it is TikTok, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Instagram, WhatsApp, all those that are there, you can actually be able to actually do that. A very good example is, and I do believe that also our friend does the same, where you test out, for example, he's a stand-up comedian, he can be able to test out his content on social, on a very small thing, you know, 1-2 minutes, before he says that I'm going then to actually go to this place and hire this particular space to actually see, and that how that content will actually be received. Because with that particular bit that he pushes, especially because he's a very notable person, then people will actually give feedback, they laugh, and he'll look at the feedback that is actually there, and he'll be able to ideate. It's also very important for influencers or even business people, because we're also talking to business people today, to be able to ideate. There is something called design thinking, where you really have to constantly always know that it is not enough. You have to constantly be improving your product. This particular pen is okay, but you have to constantly be improving it and getting feedback from the market. So any chance you get of getting that particular feedback in any industry that you're in, whether it is our friend who is a stand-up comedian, whether it is anyone else, whether it is the people at at Samosa World who have built up this from samosas, constantly try and get that particular feedback so that then you're able then to be relevant with the times. Yes.
To really talk to us about some of these platforms that you found to be quite profitable to business people. Because if I'm looking at WhatsApp, for example, if I'm selling a product, maybe I'm overlooking it, but a lot of times we don't see sales from WhatsApp, or maybe it has, you will tell us. But platforms that you've seen work for you and work for your fellow influencers in the businesses that are quite profitable?
Let me say, being across all social medias platforms, I can say every platform has their kind of audience. They all can, you can sell across all platforms.
Every platform is a marketplace.
Yes, but it depends what product do you wanna sell. That's according to me. I find it like Facebook has like it's hard to, it's easier to sell something like land on Facebook, yeah, but not really that easy to sell it on TikTok. You know, TikTok, things like wigs, clothes, like cosmetics, it's easier. Instagram, selling something like the most trending now, BBL, it's easier. You can sell BBL on Facebook, it's not easy. Yeah, because Facebook has like everybody, everybody, and the most active people on Facebook, let me say, are the wale watu wa chini kidogo, people who even use free mode. You post a photo, they don't see it. They only see the caption. They are on free mode. They don't have data, you know. Instagram, I find Instagram easy to sell most of the stuff. Cars, you know, land. And Instagram has serious people to some point. TikTok, you'll post a car, someone will ask you how much. They will disappear because they just want to know how much does this thing usually go for, you know. Twitter, I see people trying to sell shoes on Twitter. It's a waste, but it's just good to post anyway, yeah. I find Twitter a platform to interact more and sell services more than tangible products.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd actually buy land on TikTok as opposed to what you say. I'd actually buy a car on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I think it's also just about mindset and what somebody else prefers. But John, what do you think? Which platform would you say is quite profitable for business?
Yes, I think I'd also pick from what he has actually mentioned. Just the way we've said that you niche your product, we are the age of niches, where people are niching products, they're niching services to a particular market, to a particular community, hyperlocal community. It's also very important to know then what works for you. For example, I believe, like, for example, things that, for example, like TikTok. TikTok would be very good for something that is actually viral. You know, because the algorithm of how it has actually been set up has been set up that any content can actually be viral, right? Because it picks from the hashtags, it picks from, you know, so many things that you can be able then to push on it. And as long as your content touches on the right algorithm or the right pattern of that particular day, then you'll see a bit of virality in your content. Things like platform like, say, Facebook is a very traditional platform. So a lot of those huge traditional products that were associated even with our parents, with the millennials, and also, you know, down to even some of the older, I believe, even Gen Zs, on that borderline of millennials and Gen Zs, really would be going then towards even millennials. Would be going then towards Facebook. LinkedIn is one of the most underrated social media platforms. If our good friend here probably wants now to really bolden towards going towards performing in corporate events, that would be a fantastic place for him to actually find the right clientele. So it is really how then you're able then to pick where you are ideating, where you're moving yourself. And always remember, I've mentioned it even here before, that what got you here will not get you there. You have to constantly be changing. You have to constantly be ideating yourself towards how then that particular market is. He's talked about Twitter, for example. Twitter, as he said, it's about, you know, getting what is global news, getting what is what are people, what about how's the share doing, how are the stock prices doing. That would be an ideal place to actually then discuss that particular bit. So it's what works for you, and I think you've rightly put it, but also niche your product, niche your service, choose a certain community, and build your product towards that. And then you're able then to monetize that particular attention.
Tubili, we're coming to the end of this conversation, but I want us, of course, you said everybody is an influencer now. I want us to learn from the mistakes that maybe you made. Talk to us about some of the mistakes that you see people are making right now that maybe would not necessarily translate into something quite profitable for them. That ukiniangalia hivi unasema na hii kitu anajaribu kuuza hakuna kwenye anaenda. Some of the mistakes that you see people are making.
I think the mistake just comes from the business people themselves, trusting just any brand that is trending with their brands. Kuna brand zenye azingiani na azingiani tu na everybody. Just because someone is famous, you think they will sell your brand. Though it's good for visibility, because still pia it's something, you know. Like me, I've turned there are products that I've personally turned down. I don't just look for money. I also look for like my brand, you know. There are things that I can't sell. It's not that they are bad, though some are bad, you see. So the problem doesn't come in with the influencer, because our Kenyan influencers, they are in for money. They will accept anything. Anajua tu hii naye sitauza lakini juu nimewekewa do kwa meza. Wacha ni kuleido until they realize it wasn't for me. You know?
And that's what I was talking about, John.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's something like the mistake is just they are not just taking any brand because they have numbers. Again, a mistake is confusing the number of followers with the influence. These things are not the same.
That's true.
Yeah. Me, I have, you look at my profile, maybe on Instagram, I have almost 200,000, and you're like, yo, these 200,000 people will see my product. No, it doesn't go like that. Because I'll post your stuff, I'll get maybe 1,000 views, where the other 199. Maybe it's not their thing, maybe the influence, like I didn't do it properly. Another thing is creativity. Influencing is all about creativity. You see, that's why you see people with big numbers, but the way they are pushing a product, you're like, you know, let me give credit to like someone like Eric Omondi. This guy goes out of his way. I've done a couple of adverts with him, and he's like, sometimes you're like, bro, client akutoa hii do ya hii design tunataka kuekelea kwa hii ad, but he goes out of his way. Ataenda hata haya mlima with 1,000 people just for something very small, you see. So business people should look into creativity and don't judge by the number. I've seen people with even 1,000 followers doing big adverts and they are selling. But people with almost 1 million, they are doing nothing, because these days people buy followers, they buy likes. Yeah. So msi ata buy 2 followers aku confuse nayo.
All right, so followers don't necessarily translate into many. Quite interesting. That is my takeaway from this particular conversation that you're having this morning, turning social media into a marketplace. So much to learn, but we can continue this conversation on our socials. It's quite unfortunate that we've come to the end of this conversation. There's always so much to talk about and so much to learn when we're talking about business. But there you have it, really just a lot on how social media can now become a money-making tool for you and me. All of us are influencers, as we've had from, of course, my guest this morning. That is John Wambugu. He's an entrepreneur and, of course, a leader in the digital economy, just helping us understand how the digital economy dynamic works in this day and age. And, of course, Tumbili, Andrew Duncan Oduro. We know him as Tumbili. Andrew Duncan was also quite new to me. And Tumbili is a stand-up comedian. You can find him on social media across. Okay, search to Tumbili, you will see him there. My name is Anne Odida. We've come to the end of this conversation. Good morning. I'll see you tomorrow bright and early.